Hashem Svasai Tivsach Ufi Agitilasecha. We're now in the 5th parak of Amos. In this parak, Hashem says, listen to my words. But if you're not going to listen and take note of what's going on around you, then I'm going to sing, so to speak, a kina, words of lamenting to the Bnei Israel, to the base Israel, that nafla v'lo tosif kum b'tulas Israel. You're going to fall and you're not going to get up. B'tulas Israel. Nitasha es azmasa ein mikima. There's going to be a complete spread out on her soil, and there's no one to raise her up. You are going to no longer have the Malchus Yisrael, and that you are going to be sent into exile, the northern tribes. And this is a warning. And why? It goes on that the Ha'ir Hayotzis Elav Tashir Mea, you people who are going to go out to fight, or who pride themselves on how many you have, you are going to go from 1,000 to 100, and you're going to go from 100 to 10. Why in 10th denominations? Perhaps suggesting, number one, ma'aser, what you've been doing, how much you've allotted to Hashem. You haven't. You didn't do maaser. You complained about truma. You complained about helping the poor, maaser ani. And so for that, there's a midah keneged midah. You are no longer going to be remaining as grand in your mind as you think, but rather now you're going to go down. Perhaps there's also an understanding, a remnant of what happened in Mitzrayim, or chamushim alu bnei Yisrael min Mitzrayim. We were only a fraction came out of Mitzrayim. The rest, who really weren't deserving to come out, did not come out. Ko amar Hashem lebeit Yisrael, dirshuni v'chayu. But with all of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu pipes in, just come back to me. Dirshuni, seek me out, and then you will live. So we have this idea of Shem'u, listen, Dirshu, seek me out, Va'al tidrishu Beis El v'Gilgal. But when you're doing that, go to the real, actual source. Don't go to the fakeness of Gilgal and Beis El, even though, or Beersheba. Now, these are places that have religious significance. The religious significance of what happened with Yaakov. They're mentioned in Bereshis for significant reasons. But no, you need to go directly to Yerushalayim. Don't go to Gilgal. Don't go to all of these other places that have become rampant with Avodah Zarah and have become synonymous with easy lifestyle, because remember why they were even there. They were there so that the people would be able to do sacrifices on their own time and in their own way. Why would I make that long trip all the way to Yerushalayim? And also the divisiveness, that's in the Nachla of Yehuda. Why would I, a Yisrael person, succumb to doing something like that? Dirshu Hashem Mechayu, again. And we're called the Beis Yosef. Why are we called the Beis Yosef? Because Yosef had two parts. Several places in Tanakh, the Jews are considered Yosef, because Yosef had Ephraim and Menashe. Menashe is from the Lashon of Sor Meirah, don't do bad, and Ephraim ki Ephrani is to add, to do the good in your lives. And so all of those things, that's what Hashem wants. And if not, and you don't do that, and you don't do mishpat u'tzedakah, mishpat being adam lachavero, because with righteousness comes lawfulness, and tzedakah is being adam lamakom. Hashem is righteous, so you be righteous. If you just do that, then things will turn around. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. And the same person that did the kima, the ksil, the halfach bokar b'tzal maves, all of the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu that has all of the signs in astrology under his belt, so don't call to them, because kol ata Hashem. And we have this idea of water. You know, it's interesting, all throughout history, the deities of the sun, the moon, and the stars were significant as avodah zarah. But one thing that kind of reigned supreme, that was not considered to be, that was still the domain of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is water, because water hasn't changed since the time of the Mabul. That is Hashem Shemo. And so we have an understanding that first of all, seek out Hashem. Now, and you haven't been doing tzedek and mishpat, and now it gets worse to say that what else? Sin'u bashar mochiach. You don't like the people at the gates. Who are the people at the gates? Well, we know the Sanhedrin, the courts. They were at the gate. They were the ones that give tochacha. You don't listen to them. So if you're not going to listen to tochacha, you're not going to improve. And so because of all of that, boshach, which is an interesting word, it's only used once in Tanakh, and it basically you've trodden on all of the poor. You took grain from him. You were not good to the righteous. And so for all of those reasons, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? It's going to be just like we had in the Tochacha. You're going to build a house and you're never going to benefit from it. You're going to plant a vineyard and you're not going to reap the fruits of your labor. And we have an understanding, why is that? Remember, Hashem usually has a midah keneged midah. So if we go back and we understand who are the people who don't actually benefit from building a house, so we have an understanding it must be the soldiers, and we know, the shotrim, they would scream out, who is newly married, who has just built, and those are the people that don't go out to war. But who else was unable to benefit from the fruits of their labor? And that is slaves. And here what we're seeing is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, you didn't treat the poor well. You treated the poor as slaves. You treated the downtrodden, the people that had economic disadvantage, in a bad way. And so for that, you're not going to reap the benefits of that which you plant and that which you build. Your transgressions are so many, and it is because not only did you do that, but the way you treated other people, the evyonim bashar hitu, the people that were needy at your gates, you didn't treat them well. And so for that reason, yidom, lachin hamaskil be'is hahi yidom. Therefore, the people at the time would keep silent. The people that were righteous, they have nothing to say. Vayidom Aaron. And remember, when Aaron kept quiet, they have nothing to say because no one's going to listen to them, and it's going to be dangerous for them to give musar and give tochacha. Sinura ba'ohavo tov. Hashem says again, just hate the bad and love the good, right? And go to the sha'ar with mishpat. Do all the good things. And ko'amar Hashem, if you don't, then it's going to be that I'm going to be singing this kina to you. It's going to be hoi hoi. It's going to be so destructive, and you're going to be going down, and it's not going to be everything that you want. You're going to be taking hoi. There's several psukim that have the word hoi, woe, because Hashem is saying woe on that day. The day hagadol v'hanora, the day that you wanted, it's not going to be a good day. You don't think it's going to happen? It's really going to be bad. As if a man first flees from a lion, then a bear, and then ultimately gets bitten by a snake. Those are the different Galios, the Bavel, the Paras Umadai, the Roman Empire. Those, you're going to flee from one devastating Galos until the next, until ultimately you're bitten by the snake. And it's going to be a very dark day, because I'm warning you. I said, I don't want your ma'asim chagechem. I don't want these holidays that are fake. And I don't want velo ariach ba'atzrechem, and I don't want your sacrifices that are not real to me, or your olos, or your mincha, and your zvachim. They're all fake. I don't want that. I just want you. And the music, the navalchem, the music that you sing, from the word naval, disgusting, right? It's novel and naval. It's like a play on words. It's disgusting to me. I want justice and kindness and goodkite and niceness. Vayigal kamay mishpat itzdacha kinachel eitan. That is a phrase. The justice will be revealed like water, and righteousness like a mighty stream, which Martin Luther King Jr. took in one of his speeches. And way to go! He took a nice one. But ultimately, I just want you not to move away from the gods that you took, to listen to the warning of the people who know best, the Nevi'im and the judges and the righteous, to do mishpat and tzedakah, to treat the people with respect, so that you can be treated by me with respect. Bein adam hamakom imid adam hachavero are really reflections of one another. Hashem says, I am righteous, so treat other people righteous. Walk in my ways. Respect me enough to follow in my ways. How true is that? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if you don't listen and dirshuni and come back to me, then this kina is going to come true. I'm going to give you as much time as possible to make sure that doesn't come true. But there is a very good chance that it will come true if you follow along this fakeness. And you, like what we started, there will come a time, if that's the case, and your measurements are off, and you care about things that are not measured correctly, that you will then be 1/10 of what your measurement is right now. And you will look and you will feel what it feels like to me, says Hashem, who doesn't have ma'aser, who doesn't have tzedakah in the world. And then you will understand where I'm coming from. So instead, dear Shuni, come back to me.